Hey there, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you my little collection of a team that I like to dub the Serpentine Freedom Fighters. So as you guys can see here, we have quite the cast of characters with some different weapons and such. However, before we go ahead and get started, I wanted to tell you guys that I haven't been making videos recently for the last couple days because I've just been completely wore out. But I do have a lot of nice content on the way, so if you'd like to, go ahead and feel free to like and subscribe down below. Anyway, so let's jump right into this with our first member. Our first member of the Serpentine Freedom Fighters is Feng Sui. So he went off and he pledged his allegiance to help freeing the Serpentine from their captivity, or captivite, as he would say. And so he does that using his little dude right here. He is a living snake, so he can bite people whenever he is swung, which is what Feng Sui will do. And sometimes he uses him like a spy, like a secret little tool. I have to go ahead and clip him out of his hand. So Feng Sui will let go of him, and he will go and sneak around and, bite the enemy, and then report back, which he can only hiss, and that is the serpent tongue, and so Feng Sui can talk to him. This is Feng Sui's son. Yes, I know, that's kind of cursed, but still, that is his son. So yes, it is a father and son duo. Feng Sui wields his scythe, his iconic scythe that he goes off and he swings very fast and plunges it through the enemy's skull. The Serpentine hate Nindroids, and Feng Sui notoriously hates Nindroids because he cannot bite them and turn them into also, Fangpire. He hates it whenever he cannot bite through things, and he does usually get pretty dang hot-headed. Feng Sui has killed over 345 enemies of the Fangpire, and he has notoriously fought Cole on several occasions before Cole and Feng Sui and the Fangpire decided to go off and make treaties with the ninja. So that has been member 1, Feng Sui. Member 2 of the Serpentine Freedom Fighters is Spitta. Now, as you guys can see here, Spitta is wielding a very, very large spear-looking thing, and he uses that spear to go off and launch at his enemies. He also has this dagger-looking thing. Now, I use this dagger-looking thing as a bow. So not only does the long bone blades kind of stick out that he can use to jab at his enemies, he also has a string between the two that he can go off and use to launch the spear at his enemies. You guys can see here, he is also wearing the Digi-Ninja armor, which he did acquire from a local pawn shop after the Prime Empire creatures kind of escaped. And he wields another blade back here, which is his secondary weapon. This is his, his sword. Now, you might be wondering, why is there a green stud on the end of his sword? So he took a normal sword that he captured from one of his enemies, that being an elemental master, that of which will not be named, and he put a venom vial in the bottom, so whenever it breaks, it'll drip down the blade, and he can go off and poison his enemies, and, poison their wounds. So that way, they might get gangrene or something weird. Who knows? On to the next one. Our third member of the Serpentine Freedom Fighters is Dao. Now, Dao is actually a character that I went off and made up. I used one of the, I don't remember what his original tribe thing was called. Just the core villains from the first wave. I took his head and put it on a Chokin body. So that's how you make Dao, pretty much. And yeah. And anyway, so he is kind of the coward of the group. He stays back. He has a long-distance weapon, that being a crossbow, and he kind of freaks out very easily, but he does get stuff done from time to time. All he needs is just a little extra encouragement from his other team members, and he'll probably be well on his way to destroying half a civilization. He is kind of the pyrotechnician of the bunch, going off and setting up supreme explosions. He loves fire, however, he hates having a sword swung in his face. He kind of has a little bit of trauma, and so he does a little sword swinging himself. That being said, he usually is the first to dive out of a fight and run off. So, if you need cover, don't necessarily rely on him. That's kind of why we needed 2 bow members in this group. Get out of here, Dao. Now, our third member is kind of a missionary sort of deal. So, Radula, he comes from the Hypnobrai tribe, and the Hypnobrai are somewhat notorious for not being very well liked. So, he's a little salty all the time. He kind of acts better than all the other members, and he's very, very stuck up. And he'll be glad to go off and, thrust his spear into another enemy, and right before they kill you, and go off and then laugh in your face and never let you hear the end of it. So that kind of sucks for some of the other members. They don't really like him all that much, but he does do a good job, and deep down, he probably does like them. He's just kind of a jerk sometimes. We can all be like that at times, but here he is in all his glory, and yeah, that is Radula. Now, the Serpentine Freedom Fighters was not originally founded by any just one tribe. It was actually an idea of a Constricti warrior who, under General Scalador, thought that he might be able to finally unite the tribes. Now, that warrior is actually Baitar. He's a little ball of spikes, and most people don't really think that much of him. They don't think he's very smart, calling him dirt for brains just because he is from the Constricti tribe. Now, that's a little bit Serpentine racism going on there. However, that's kind of just what some people think. Now, Baitar here is actually a very brave warrior, and he has very many ideas about how he could help his people and his tribe. With General Scalador being his cousin, he does have a lot more, willpower and more pull with some of the other tribes and leaders. He attends so many different conferences with General Acidicus of the Vinamari that they actually became close friends. Now, one thing you'll come up with, noticing all my Constricti figures, is that they wear an orange sash, and they kind of just vibe with that because they are orange. They're kind of monk-like, but they do fight whenever they need to. Now, Baitar decided that he would go off and take a couple different warriors from some of the other tribes and give them a new purpose. Instead of just fighting just to fight each other, they would come together and fight for the freedom of their people, of their races, because deep down they are all fighting for the same cause. And Dao is over by a Mountain Dew can because I flicked him. Darn it. And this is the Serpentine Freedom Fighters. They have fought in very many battles. They have freed their people from the sewers of Ninjago City, and they are now a very peaceful people. However, many do seek out the Serpentine lands that they are farming on, including the Golden Master that the Serpentine legends feared of, that being the Overlord. He had went off and tried to purge the Serpentine first, so that way they could not rise up against him, because the first Spinjitzu Master trusted the Serpentine to protect Ninjago, and they tried. They tried their best. However, the humans overcame and fought them, and treated them as though they were the enemy, whenever all they were trying to do is to protect their land, protect their weapons, and protect their people. And it didn't turn out that well for the humans, let's just say that. The Stone Warriors came and rose up against them. The Islanders have came and visited the Serpentine. Wojira is kind of a tale based on the Serpentine, where the Great Devourer that the Serpentine had spoken of was basically kind of bastardized and turned into Wojira for the Islanders because they did fear the Great Snake, of which the Serpentine prayed to. But yes, the mother of all Serpentine, the Great Devourer, was once a great beast, and the Islanders feared the Great Devourer. And this has been another episode of Ninjago Upgrades. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave some cool stuff down in the comments below if you'd like to. Tell me who your favorite was. Tell me, anything that you went off and collected or decided that you wanted me to tell you. Tell me about some of the missions that you send your little Serpentine figures on. I'd love to hear that all down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out and bye-bye!